It is Friday, October 17th, 2025. This is another playoff edition of Baseball Today. It is presented to you by Mountain Dew Baja Blast. Looking for a refreshing citrusy kick? Go grab yourself a Mountain Dew. That is my man, Trevor Plouffe. I am Chris Rose, producer Dan, intern Sawyer along for the ride as well. We got two crazy games to break down momentarily, but we start with a little tip of the cap with our buddy Vinny Pasquantino, who fresh off his European vacation with his bride Ryan with two ends, has returned to the States and was on First Things First on FS1 in a suit, and his boy Bobby Witt Jr. calling him out for maybe having a little too much pasta while he was in Europe. Plouffe.
Here's a rule for anybody. When you sit down in the suit, you got to unbutton. It's not just Vinny here, but I thought that was really funny when I saw that on Bobby's Instagram story right there, because that's kind of rule number one.
Yeah, it was actually the battle of the dueling hair dues, if you will, between Vinny Pasquantino and Nick Wright on that side of the table as well. We're always proud. We all know around here, John Boy Media, how great Vinny is on TV.
He's the best.
Go do your thing. And Bobby Witt, good job calling him out. That was kind of funny. No question about it. Should we get to it? What an ALCS we have had. Crazy. Road rage has been on full display here as the Jays make sure this series is going back north of the border.
3 balls and 2 strikes on Canzone. Here it comes. That is strike 3. And this best of 7 has become a best of 3. The road team reigning supreme. The Blue Jays winning games 3 and 4 in Seattle after dropping the 2 in Toronto.
What the heck is going on with this series, man?
I think there's been a tale of two series, right? Seattle dominating the first 2 games, Toronto dominating the second 2 games. I mean, the last 2, it's been a couple older dogs. Bieber's not as old as Scherzer, but I mean, you had it more than I did about Scherzer and his outing today. I had some fan fiction that was a lot of fun.
Hold on. For those people that did not see, listen, this is 2 straight days where you have nailed it. This isn't necessarily like beginning of the season 2021 where the Braves are going to top the Astros in 6 games, but it's starting to get a little weird. So this is what you said during Thursday's show.
This is like fan fiction. I hope he's dealing and he gets through one time through the order, and Schneider goes out there and to take the ball from him. And then he doesn't let him. And Schneider walks back to the dugout, tail between his legs. And Max goes 2 times through the order. Gets him 5 strong, 6 strong, whatever it is.
Well, you might not have nailed the inning, but it came true.
I didn't believe any of that, Chris. It was just a fun story. That's why it was fiction. But here we go, man. I guess I've learned my lesson with Max Scherzer. He just really does have that dog in him, because it was, there was some trouble, early on in the game. He gets the big double play. He ends up picking a runner off first base. So he worked around a little bit of trouble, but then he settled down, was spinning that curveball, which I thought was his best pitch of the night. Getting a lot of swings and misses on that. So he's mixing speeds, doing all the things that you have to do when you're 41 years old, still in the show, man. Like, he's a winner is the bottom line. And my actual take on it was, if he got to go one time through the order, I think they'd be happy. Dude, he crushed that. He knocked it out of the park, Chris. So I'm tipping my cap. I'm eating my words. I'm giving him my flowers because he deserves that.
5 2/3, 3 hits, 2 earned, 5 Ks, 4 walks. That's a little expected. He hadn't pitched in a game in 3 weeks. When I've talked to guys who haven't pitched that long and then they come back, for them it's all about the feel, that they don't have necessarily a feel. His velocity was outstanding. He threw the hardest he had thrown in the last couple of years. So he followed up Bieber's game with something special here. I do want to get back to the whole incident where his manager comes out to check on him on the mound. Here is Scherzer and his skipper.
It was a 2-out situation. I just had checked the board. I think I was at 69 or 70 pitches. My arm felt great. 2 outs and Randy was coming up, and in my head I was going through, kind of my sequence of how I wanted to pitch Randy, thinking through the situation. And all of a sudden I see Schneid's coming out. It kind of caught me off guard, and that's just where one of those moments where I know I wanted the ball. I knew the situation of the game. I wanted the ball, and I basically told him that in a little bit different language.
Yeah, it was awesome. I thought he was going to kill me. It was great. He locked eyes with me, both colors as I walked out, and it's not fake. That's the thing. It's not fake. He has this Mad Max persona, but he backed it up tonight.
He sure as shit did, man. And by the way, we want to thank Fox Sports FS1 for giving us the first Scherzer clip that was there. I got to tell, I think this is one of the most shocking things that we've seen the entire postseason, based on how poorly Scherzer threw down the stretch. He was terrible in the month of September. He was going against a guy in Luis Castillo, who was one of baseball's best pitchers. And so things totally flip-flopped, and I guess that is the true beauty of October baseball.
Yeah, you know what? He was dealing with some injuries, not feeling himself, and I think the layoff for maybe a younger guy doesn't do him well, but the layoff and some time off for the old vet, I think, did him well. The velo was there on the heater. Like, it's I was shocked, Chris. I truly was shocked at what was going on there. And I don't know how else to put it, because a lot of people were saying this is going to be Max Scherzer's last ever start. If they get to the World Series, that MFer is pitching.
Yeah, he is. He is. He'll get to go against one of his old teams, most likely in the Dodgers. But we saw this from the beginning of the game. I think that because Max Scherzer's kind of been in the background a little bit, he didn't pitch a ton this year.
They left him off the roster.
Right, he was not on their ALDS roster. I mean, did you see all the antics before the game? And this is Scherzer. Like, as his manager said, this isn't fake. This is exactly who he is. He's nuts. He's out there in the bullpen. He's doing this,
Well, that's what he does, yeah.
Right. Did you see him walk through the dugout before? Here, look at this. Like, get the fuck out of my way. I got a job to do.
He's just having so much fun. So, like, it looks like he's all mad or whatever. He's having the time of his life pitching. That's what that means. Do you think Schneider, there was no way he was going to take him out? Like, I truly believe that was for show. Like, he wanted that to happen. Whether it was to pump Scherz up, whether it was just to have the moment. Like, you saw Ernie Clement when he left the huddle was just laughing. Like, I think it just it was Schneider's way of getting everyone to chill out, enjoy the moment, whatever it is. I think he did a really good job there, because I truly believe he knew that was going to happen.
A couple other things I want to talk to you about. Andres Gimenez, second straight day, getting the Blue Jays on the board. You talked about the importance on Wednesday's show of the Blue Jays getting their act going, and the 8 and 9 hitters have got to deliver. Well, it happened again, right? Who was it that? Oh, IKF leads off the inning with a double. Gimenez takes Castillo deep, and the Blue Jays have a lead that they wouldn't relinquish after that. For Gimenez, I don't think people realized how bad his offense had gotten. He got that 9-figure deal from Cleveland after the 2022 season. He had an 837 OPS that year. The next year, it dipped to like the low sevens. The next year, it was the mid sixes. And this year, where he missed 61 games, but still he couldn't hit after the first week of the year when he was hitting cleanup for the Blue Jays, of all things, it was sub 600 OPS. Now, he said in today's post-game interview that I'm not here to make any excuses, but I feel healthy again. Still, the last couple of years, his offense had diminished big time. And what a great time for him to find it, huh?
Yeah, I mean, I think when you watch him play, he doesn't get caught up in the moment. So he's one of those like slow heartbeat guys. And that's not always going to translate into 2-run homers in the postseason. That's not always going to be the case. But I do think it gives him an advantage in these situations where he's like, okay, like I know my game. I know what I'm trying to do. And I think because he has that plus defense, that he can kind of rely on that so much to like say, I'm going to do that no matter what. And it just kind of takes the pressure off him offensively in these situations, because that's his job. Go field the ball up the middle. Let's have some good at bats, move guys if you need to. And then you get some big hits like this, and man, it's just what a difference. Yeah. And IKF, I mean, whoa.
Yeah.
Like not only, 2 for 3 on the night, but he had a nice bunt at the end of the game as well. Like kind of like doing what he needed to do. And those two guys at the middle, they're difference makers.
Ho-hum, another night, another Vlad homer. Leads all of baseball this postseason with 5 round trippers and 11 ribs, and he didn't even have to play in the wild card round, as just a reminder. I think this has been enormous for a couple of reasons. His first 6 playoff games, the Blue Jays didn't win one. His stats, 2 for 22, 1 double, 1 RBI. Now, this is the first time he played it as an exceptionally rich man. He was just really, really rich in playoff previous engagements. This time, it's post $500 million deal. And when he got it, I'm not going to say I was surprised because it came from Toronto, because we know how much it means to the franchise and to the city and to the country. But hey, it was time for him to produce. And he looks like an entirely different ball player this October.
I totally agree. I think we both were a little shocked at the number, and we both went back and forth. I think we've been doing this show for quite some time now. We've talked a ton about Vladdy. What kind of ball player is he? What tier does he belong on? And we've had a lot of discussions about it, and I think that's fair. But he is now, especially if they continue to go into these, if they make the World Series and he has this type of postseason, I mean, that's why you pay a guy what you pay him. Yes, he's the face of the franchise. You need him during the regular season, but if he doesn't show up in the postseason, it's all for naught. He's showing up, man, in the biggest way possible.
One big play I thought where Seattle had a chance to get back into it was a single by Eugenio Suarez with 2 outs, and Naylor tried to go to third, which is a no-no, right? You never make the first nor the third out at third base. It's a rally killer, and here it's the end of the inning. The Blue Jays will gladly give up a run to get a third out. You could have had first and second, tying run coming to the dish. Barger with a remarkable throw, and Joe Davis made the point on the broadcast that he's got one of the best arms in baseball, that he averaged over 95 miles an hour a throw from the outfield.
Yeah, he can throw that thing, and that was very accurate as well. I mean, they barely scored that run. That would have been something crazy if they didn't. I don't mind the aggressiveness. I know it's like, don't make the first or third out at third base. But the score is what dictates that, really, when it matters. And that right there, when you're down that amount of runs, you just cannot do that. If you're up 3 runs, I don't care. Go for it. Let's be aggressive. Let's put the pressure on them. I don't mind that as much. But in that situation in particular, it was tough. And then Leo Rivas getting picked off. Cal Raleigh, the tying run, is at home plate. You don't need to get into scoring position. No. You are there at first base. Those 2 plays right there cannot happen.
Cannot happen at this time of year. Cannot happen. So now we look ahead to Game 5 in Seattle. It'll be a rematch of the Game 1 starters. It's Gossman against Miller in this one. And we heard from J.P. Crawford after the game, the Seattle shortstop, on where they go from here.
I know this isn't where you want to be, but then again, it's still 2-2. What's the mindset as you leave here tonight?
You got to win them all. Simple as that.
Is there a feeling of lost opportunity?
Yeah, I mean, obviously we didn't come out on top, so yeah, I mean, it's a failed mission.
Failed mission, right? I mean, let's just rewind 48 hours. Everybody is patting them on the back, letting everybody in Seattle know that this is the closest they've ever been to making a World Series. They had never been up 2-0 in their franchise's history, and now they're heading home. I can only imagine what's going through their head right now.
Yeah, I mean, it's not good, but again, whatever. It's a 3-game set now. That's what it is. That's how you have to approach it. Forget about the last 2 days. Try to, watch the tape from the first 2, because that was really good. I was calling them the team to beat. They were playing complete baseball the first 2 games, and it's just kind of gone awry. And look, give Bieber credit, give Scherzer credit. I think Scherzer punched him in the face today. Like, they were not expecting that whatsoever. So again, 3-game set, and it's anybody's ball game. I don't think that the Blue Jays all of a sudden are the overwhelming favorites in this series. That's just not the way baseball works. So hey, no matter what, you're going back to Toronto. You're gonna have to do it there. Try to get a victory for your home crowd, please. Right?
I'm calling on Randy Rosarena. Hello.
No.
Hello. I mean, if they're going to continue to hit him leadoff, let's get it going. 16 strikeouts in 38 postseason at bats. I mean, this is a dude that came into the postseason with over a 1 daughter. I know he did a ton of damage that 1 year with the Rays, but he's had other good playoff series as well at times, and he just looks lost. He's got to get on, right, in terms of giving Raleigh and Julio something. You thought maybe he hit that homer yesterday, or in game, whatever it was, game 3, maybe that gets him going. No, didn't get him going. He's one of the guys I would circle and say, hey, let's wake it up.
Yeah, agreed. And who is it tomorrow? It's Gausman and Miller, right?
Yep. Rematch of game 1 where Miller was fantastic. We didn't expect it on 3 days rest. Gave him 6 full innings. Gausman pitched exceptionally well. They end up making the pitching change. Doesn't work out great. That was the only competitive game of the series so far. Everything else has been one-sided.
Yeah.
So let's get back to the game 1 minutes. We haven't been short on storylines. There's been a ton of them. But let's get back to the competitive nature here with maybe the American League season boiling down to just a 3-game set. Thank you very much. Seattle fans, Blue Jay fans, let us know where you are, what you thought of Scherzer's antics, what you thought of him and his skipper on the mound, what we continue to think of Vlad and his postseason, where he is totally breaking out, all this sort of stuff. All right, based on hundreds of millions of real-world tests, the experts at Ookla Speed Test, they have spoken. T-Mobile, now the best mobile network in all of America. So you can keep up with all the baseball postseason action from the ballpark to the back country, because T-Mobile has got the most advanced 5G, the most towers, and a signal that goes farther than ever. So whether you're streaming the game out and about, checking stats on the road, or experiencing ballpark perks with Magenta Status, you're ready to stay connected wherever your fandom takes you. Head on over to T-Mobile.com/network to switch to the very best network around. All right, we switch gears over to the NLCS. Dodgers, 1 win away from yet another World Series appearance. 5 pitchers combined to keep Milwaukee's bats silent yet again.
Got him! Ball game! The Dodgers win it! Sasaki closes the door. Los Angeles wins it 3-1. They are 8-1 in this postseason, steamrolling their way through this playoff run.
When the postseason rolls around, we all kind of lean on each other a little harder. The 162 games is a long season. Things go our way, things don't, but it is a breath of fresh air when October comes around.
That is left-hander Alex Vesia, who pitched very well coming out of the bullpen. Dodgers starting pitching has obviously been the name of the game in this series in the 3-0 lead. Tyler Glasnow was exceptional as well, but it's the bullpen. Vesia, Treinen, Banda, and then Roki, who finished it up. 3 1/3, 1 hit, 4 Ks, no walks. And I have a feeling that having Roki take over the 9th inning has allowed these other guys to kind of fall in line a little bit. And I don't think it's any coincidence that Treinen has certainly looked significantly better, and that Vesia has gotten back to doing what he does.
I think it allows Dave Roberts to find those lanes for those guys,
Yeah.
put them in positions to have success. We always talk about that. If you have guys locked into, you're the 8th inning guy, you're the 9th inning guy, sometimes you don't have those lanes. You might have to face, a bunch of right-handers in a row, and you really want to try to avoid that, especially in the 7-game set in the NLCS. So you want to be able to put your guys in positions to succeed. And if you have a guy like Roki that has that splitter that can kind of go up against either, so you can put those guys in different situations, I think that helps a lot. It also helps that this series, just the momentum is just overwhelming for the Dodgers right now. I think that is also playing into it. It feels like they're playing with absolutely zero amounts of pressure, doesn't it?
Yeah, and Milwaukee's got everything because any base runner they've got, they feel like they've got to take advantage and score, and they can't. Trev, they have scored 3 runs and they have 9 hits. Those are numbers that if you had that in a game in the playoffs, you're not so sure you'd win. Forget a 3-game series so far.
And they did what we said they needed to do against Tyler Glasnow early in the game. They got runners on against them. They were stealing bases. They put pressure on, and they just didn't capitalize enough. Jake Bauers getting thrown out at home. Great play by Muncy, obviously.
That was a great play. There's no – I don't think anybody's at fault.
You know what you can't do when the infield's in with a runner on third base, less than 2 outs? Hit a ground ball to the third baseman. I mean, you got to put the ball into the outfield. You got to hit the ball into the air. I mean, those are the little things. Like, yes, he made a great play. Awesome play. But you can't hit a ball into the ground to the third baseman. Like, that's just, you practice that all the time. And it's going to happen. I understand that. I've done it a million times. But those are the little things that can change a baseball game. If they go up right there, that would have put them up 2-0, correct?
No, 2-1.
Oh, that's right, because LA opened the scoring. That's right. I'm sorry. They would have taken the lead.
Yep.
So, you got a little ass-out swing right there to Muncy. Like, you got to use the big part of the field right there. Those are those little things, man.
Another little thing, it's a 2-1 game. Uribe had come in to replace Mizorowski, and for some reason, he throws one to first. There's 2 outs.
Yeah, there's no reason
2 outs on this play. What was the thought process at all?
I'm not really sure because Edman's not a guy that steals a lot of bases. And even if he does, just attack the hitter right there. You're trying to pick a guy off. I mean, I have no answer for that, Chris. And I don't know if it came from the dugout, if that was Uribe on his own. I'm not really sure. Hard to tell when you're watching the game like that, but an ill-advised throw that turns into a run. Yeah.
Yeah. Retrospectively, right? They start Ashby again, the Brewers. The second time in 3 games, they're using a bullpen, which is probably another discussion we can have about this. But Mizorowski comes out of the bullpen and was fantastic. 9 Ks, 5 innings, 1 run allowed, 73 pitches. In those shadows, it's just ridiculous. Now, I heard Will Smith after the game say that his velocity started to come down a little bit later, and that's when we started to square him up a little bit better. But he said it was really tough to hit. Why the hell didn't they just let him start?
I don't mind it. I don't. He looked great, obviously. I think if Ashby, the triple that Shohei hit and was just an absolute excuse me swing, and I think his outing goes a lot differently if he gets a ground ball to first, that's the pitch he made and the swing that he got. Right. That's what the result should have been. Instead, Shohei just finds a freaking way to poke it down the right field line, and that it changes everything. And you got to go after Betts with a runner on third base and the infield in, and Mookie had a great swing there. I don't know, but you're right. Mizorowski looked phenomenal. I'm wondering, I know he struggled at the end of the season. I understand that. But this guy's a starter, clearly. And if you think enough of him to have him throw 5 innings, I think you're starved for starters. He should have just been – you should give the guy a chance in the postseason instead of putting him in these situations to come in and put fires out. I don't know.
Well, I think that they didn't know going into the Cubs series what they were going to get out of him. But once they saw that they could trust him, then I'm like, why not? This is weird that the best team in baseball has now gotten to the point. How many times in the Cubs series did they use it? 3 times where they used an opener? 3 out of 5?
Yeah, and you can blame it on injuries like with Woodruff, but that's you still should have at least 3 starters, right?
I think so.
At least
when you're the best team in baseball. I mean, Quintana's been put on layaway.
Yeah.
He's a veteran.
It's a strange thing.
It just is. It's It's been very strange. And so now this is it. And the Brewers, they got to get it going. Here's their leader, Christian Yelich.
We're in a big hole. You got to break it down into little goals. Our goal right now should be to get the series back to Milwaukee and then worry about the rest later. You know, you can't look at it as we got to win 4 in a row. Like, obviously we do, but you can't win 4 before you win 1 or before you win 2. So the goal should be to get the series back to Milwaukee.
Unfortunately, that's the best thing he's done this series right there, was kind of lay it out that way. Well, I mean, he'll tell you that. The numbers have been atrocious. It's 1 for 11 with 6 strikeouts, and that's just not good enough. Nobody has been good except for Jake Bauers. He swung the bat well. Like he's looked like a guy.
You can point a lot of fingers, man. And I know I just talked to Jake about this, and I'm still trying to wrap my head around it. What's up with Chourio? He's going to play tomorrow, Chris. And he came out in a bat, and he said it was cramps, and he was the tying run. And I just, in my mind, I must be missing something, right? We're missing information. There has to be something that I don't know. I thought it was a hammy thing. He comes out right away, goes into the tunnel, Chris.
Well,
but he says he's going to play tomorrow. So if it was a cramp, take your time and get rid of the cramp. You have cramps in bed all the time. You tell me about them, and what do?
Well, usually I'm down for about 3 or 4 days. I got to be honest with you. I don't think I'd make it for
I'm
game
just
4.
saying, am I crazy right now? Because I'm trying not to go in on this guy because I think he's a young, fun player. I think he plays his ass off all the time. But to leave an at bat.
Well, what's he supposed to do? Sit there and get stretched out on the field?
Yes.
Well, that's not what happens.
It can be.
Well,
if you foul a ball off your foot, does the umpire make you get back in the box right away, or can you freaking walk it off? If you need a medical timeout, you got a medical timeout, dude. Stretch the damn thing out. We've all had cramps. You just stretch it out a little bit.
Okay, well, you see it much more often in football, particularly at the beginning of the season when it's hot and guys.
Yeah, but they can't take like.
But you don't see guys. You see guys get stretched out on the field, but then they come out.
They
come
have
out
to. That's the rules. Is they have to come out.
You're right. So I don't ever remember seeing it on a baseball diamond. I guess that's it.
I must be missing something, man. I truly must be missing something because I got to be honest with you. Like if he was my teammate and he's one of our best players who gives us a chance to win, and he comes out of the game and it's a cramp and he's playing tomorrow, I'm like, what happened?
You're gonna question him?
Yeah. I don't want to. Like, okay, I don't want to. You know me. I love ball players, man. Want to be on every. I want to be on every ball player's side. I'm just shocked. And again, I think I don't know something. I'm missing information is what I'm trying to say.
So the information, let's play this. So what you're saying
don't clip this social media team. I don't want this out there. This is for if you're listening to the episode, fine. I don't want this out there as a clip. That's my warning.
So what you're saying is that he doesn't know how to gut through things yet.
No, okay. I'm just saying I don't know what happened.
Because there are guys like that.
Then yeah, I'm questioning it. Yeah.
There are guys like that who can't fight through everything.
He's been dealing with a hamstring injury. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, I don't know. He's either the toughest son of a gun ever or the opposite, because we keep thinking he's going to miss games. And what does he do? He comes back and hits a 3-run homer the next day. So I don't know what's going on. I guess that's what I'm saying. What the hell is going on with this guy's legs?
Okay. He thinks he'll be ready and be in the lineup.
Am I crazy?
Are you No, I wouldn't say you're crazy. And I understand it from a guy who played in the big leagues. It's not I hate it when guys in my chair who never laced it up question a guy's toughness. I don't think that that's fair.
I'm not questioning his toughness.
Well, I think you are, and that's okay. I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
I just want to know what happened. I just want to know what happened. It was a 1-2 count. You know who came in? Perkins came in.
Yeah.
You got a chance to tie the game. You're down 2-0 at the time in the series, so this is a very, very important time of the season.
Yeah.
The most.
All right, let me ask you this. You don't have to be sorry. I wonder if any Brewers fans were sitting there feeling the same thing. Let us know in the comments where you are with all that. This thing's over, right? I mean, is there anything the Brewers can do?
Yelly gave the best advice you can say. Let's just get it back to Milwaukee.
You think they can win?
That's tough.
Two games? Can they? Let's start with the simplest one. Can they win against Shohei and the Dodgers in game 4?
That's the problem, Chris. It's not like they got some easy task ahead of them. They got Shohei Ohtani pitching against them tomorrow.
Right, and who's gonna come in for the Brewers? It'll either be Quintana at some point, right? They didn't have a starter last I saw.
No, Quintana's expected but not confirmed. That's what I got.
Yeah, still undecided. Can we stop with that, by the way? Just give us a starter. Who cares? You got to go out and execute anyway. It's not like we're running plays like in the NFL.
On our notes, I'm just sorry. I don't mean to keep bringing this up. So it was game 1 of the NLDS trio comes out of the game.
Right. Early.
Came back for game 2 and then hit a homer right away.
Yeah. Well, remember, he got those 3 hits in the first 2 innings and injured it while legging out the infield single in the second.
Maybe he's the toughest guy I know.
Maybe.
And he's really gutting it out.
Maybe.
He's like, yeah, I'll play. Who cares? Like that could be what's going on.
All right. So Dodgers sweep, yes or no?
Yes.
I think so too. Who goes back to Canada with a 3-2 lead?
Gosh, Gausman versus Miller. This one's a tough one for me, Chris. Did you know that? I think I'll go Mariners. There's no way Andres Gimenez can do it again.
Right. If he does, oh my gosh. You know what? Let's give the Seattle fans something to cheer about. Right? And I definitely don't think the series will be over at 3-2 regardless. So let's have some fun. People, I enjoyed everybody's comments about predicting the games and give us a one-liner about who's going to star or something that is going to happen. Any other predictions you want to throw out there since you're rolling hot?
Shohei gets going tomorrow offensively.
Okay.
Yeah.
See how that goes. All right, it's time right now for our Like a Bosch Player of the Week. It's brought to you by Bosch Power Tools. Just like Bosch Power Tools, this player got the job done through hard work, grit, and determination. I'm going to take a little liberty here. It's more than just a Player of the Week. It's really one of our Players of the Year, and it's Tarik Skubal, who had a remarkable regular season. It looks like he's going to win a second straight Cy Young Award. I mean, look at these numbers. Garrett Crochet is the only guy that's going to push him, but he was just great. And as good as he was during the regular season, he was even better during Detroit's postseason run, which ended with a Game 5 loss in Seattle. 1.74 ERA. He averaged almost 16 Ks per 9 across the 3 starts, 1 in Cleveland and 2 in Seattle. He was something special. But that gets us to this news that John Heyman of the New York Post is reporting that Skubal and the Tigers are nearly $250 million apart in negotiations. Skubal, of course, is in his walk year in 2026. So what's more likely, that Skubal gets an extension or that the Cy Young Award winner actually gets traded this offseason?
Doesn't sound like he's getting an extension, Chris. I mean, $250 million apart? Either he's getting extremely lowballed or Scott Boras is looking for the sky, which maybe he should be.
Or both.
Yeah. So to me, it seems like the more likely situation is that he gets traded, and I hate saying that for Tigers fans.
You yelled at me. Didn't you yell at me last week when I brought up that possibility?
I know. I'm saying I'm pissed about that, dude. Like, come on. Like, this guy, like, I get it. We've seen big contracts blow up. I understand that. But what this guy's been able to do, I mean, he reminds me of the guy we just saw tonight at 41 still slinging that rock. He reminds me of a Max Scherzer type. And guess where he went? Or he started.
Washington. What?
Arizona, Detroit, Washington. He was pretty good in Washington afterwards, right?
It was at the time, if not maybe all time, the best free agent contract in terms of it feeling like it was fair for the player and that the player delivered every season.
God, his numbers in Washington are fucking incredible.
Yeah, it's great. You didn't feel 1 ounce that you were like, oh man, there's going to be a little regression or that there's going to be wear and tear.
You've already been through this situation, Chris.
I know. But so let's go over the Detroit history a little bit, right? The richest contract they ever gave out was a $248 million extension to Miguel Cabrera.
Mm-hmm.
They tacked it on top of the remaining 2 years. So it almost pushed it, I think, to $300 million. The richest pitcher contract we ever had in the big leagues is Yoshinobu Yamamoto, who signed for $325 million a couple years ago. But he was 25 when he got here. Skubal, 29. That's what he's going to be. That was the same age Garrett Cole was when he got to free agency and signed with the Yankees for $324 million. Okay? There is a significant drop-off between Cole and the next highest paid starting pitcher in baseball, and that's Max Fried, who's at $218 million. That is a huge, huge gap, over $100 million. So now Skubal's sitting here. He can ask for the world because of the top. I mean, I think they're going to trade him, man. I really do. I firmly believe it. I don't think there's any way they're going to start a contract that goes like 360 or 70 million. I don't see it.
Do you think he's looking for like an extension of at least like 36 a year AAV? Do you think that's what it is?
Well,
is what Scherzer got 41, something like that. Just this latest round.
Yeah, but that was like a 2-year deal, right?
Yeah, I understand that. I'm just saying AAV wise, I wonder what
you're talking about when he signed with the Mets.
Yes.
Yeah, it was something like that.
I wonder like what he like lengthwise, because that's always a thing. It's like, okay, what's the AAV? Like, is he looking for a? I just don't know what. I'm so bad with contracts, like what guys are looking for right now. Let's just say he wants a 10-year deal.
I would imagine so.
Which no team is going to do. Like, teams just don't do that.
They're not going to give. Well, Yamamoto got 12, right?
Different scenario.
What did Garrett Cole get?
9.
Did he get 11? 9 or 11, and then he had the opt out or opt in.
9. Okay, so let's just say they give him 10. What's he looking? 10 for 350? Is it 10 for 400?
There's no way the Tigers will do that.
Who will do that? The Mets.
Mm-hmm.
Oh God. I haven't even started thinking about this because I just want him to be a Tiger, and I like, as much as it hurts my Twins to have him in the division, like he's a guy that needs to stay there, man. But
wouldn't you trade him to the Mets if you were the Tigers based on the young pitching that they've got? We just saw 3 guys come up.
Yeah, I mean, the package has got to be substantial. So is it just 1 year? He's a free agent after next year?
Yes. This is it, man. It's time. It's go time. This is it.
I don't think you can expect the package to be that much. 1 year is.
Well, we know that they're not going to give up Nolan McLean. You can say goodbye to that.
Yeah.
Jonah Tong.
So is it like Jonah Tong and like another like top prospect, and that gets the deal done? Like I'm so bad with stuff like this.
I know, but it's kind of fun to throw out there a little bit.
Our super producer Dan, Yankee fan extraordinaire, said Spencer Jones and some pitching prospect. That seems
Cruz.
Like a freaking no thanks.
Well, you do have to remember that the Tigers have guys that are really on the cusp of breaking through into the show. But what does that matter if you're going to lose your stud? I mean, let's go over what has transpired the last.
What do the Tigers need is starters,
right? And they've only trotted him out consistently in the playoffs. Flaherty, they were able to do it with this year, which was good. But they've survived on this pitching chaos. But it only works because you have Tarik Skubal.
Yes.
If you had just a guy, this does not work. You have to have the guy that can give the breather in a short series to the bullpen.
Gosh, don't you? Okay. I don't think. No, I'm just talking out of my, you know what now.
Why? What do you?
I start to think like, okay, if you're the Tigers, can't you be like, hey man, we'll give you $50 million a year for 3 years?
Do you think with the
he wouldn't take that though.
Well, so would he? The only question, I don't think so. Not approaching 30 years old.
Yeah, he wouldn't take that.
I don't think so. Do you think that because his free agency lines up with a possible work stoppage, that you could get him to sign a deal in Detroit? How would that affect you?
No, because you're not getting paid if there's a work stoppage. You don't get that money back.
No, I know, but aren't you more curious to, like, what if the economics of baseball changes significantly?
I think baseball's only going like this right now. Like, I know there's some TV stuff they got to figure out, but that's
a lot of TV stuff.
A lot of TV stuff they got to figure out, but that's not this CBA. Like, all the other deals are done in 3 or 4 years.
So after this collective bargaining agreement,
60 a year for 3 years, 180 mil for 3 years.
I don't think so. I don't think he does that. Do you?
I don't know. That's pretty cool.
Oh, God.
Because I always think like this, Chris. Like, today's money is worth exponentially more than tomorrow's money.
Well, here's the deal. We want to hear from you, Tiger fans. Where's your head? Where's your heart? What's going on? If you are, don't give us a BS deal. If your team is really legitimately interested in Tarik Skubal, what are you willing to give up? I know I'm going to hate myself for asking that and having people put it in the comments, but I have faith in some of you out there.
Going to be like my son, my firstborn. Like, there are going to be a lot of people saying stuff like that.
Yeah, that's probably where we are. My fault. Today's episode sponsored by Bosch. When you pick up a Bosch Power Tool, makes you feel empowered and confident and appreciated no matter what job lies ahead. You know you're going to crush it. As a global leader of power tools, measuring tools, and accessories, Bosch's innovative product solutions are built with quality engineering and precision in mind. The assortment of products ensures that you have the right tools in your toolbox to tackle a variety of tasks with relative ease. Bosch's 18-volt battery platform powers numerous tools, creating a consistent energy home base that keeps the brand's family of tools running. Like your favorite players on the field, Bosch Power Tools makes sure that you are powered up, ready for anything that gets thrown your way, because the more you Bosch, the more you feel like a Bosch. Head on over to BoschTools.com today to learn more about the power tools you need to get the job done right each and every time. All right. A couple of baseball heavyweights had their season-ending pressers on Thursday. We're going to start up in the boogie down. Bronx, Yankees, they filled us in on a couple of injuries. There's no surgery necessary for Aaron Judge and that ailing elbow. But Carlos Rodon did have an issue with his left elbow. He's not going to be ready for opening day. Same with Garrett Cole, who, of course, is working his way back from an arm injury. Also big news on shortstop Anthony Volpe. He's having the labrum in his shoulder repaired. He will not be ready for the start of the year at all. I mean, it's going to be a while for him. As for the end of this season, which ended with a divisional round loss to Toronto, here's the architect, Brian Cashman.
I leave it for the masses to debate, what it ultimately came out of. Proud of a lot of things we accomplished and players that I knew that they were fighting. They were talented, they were fighting, they were committed, but wasn't good enough.
All right, now Cashman added, you just take as many good shots as you can when you get to October. You just keep swinging. Do you think the Yankees have to change their thought process in terms of, hey, we've got a really good team. We feel good about just making it to October, and whatever happens, happens. Obviously, we want to win, but we feel like we built a really good roster.
I hate when, GMs and presidents of baseball ops talk like that. Let's just get to October and see what happens. Like, I understand the thought process there. It's very hard to win in October. A lot of times, it's 1 or 2 plays that get away from you that can change a series, injuries, all these things. So, like, I understand the sentiment there. But I don't think, if you're a Yankee fan, you don't want to hear that. You want your guy in charge to say, we're going to go there and we're there to win. We're not there to get there and see what happens. We're there to get there and win. And I've said this a bunch. I think the Yankees season, like, if they have Garrett Cole, it's completely different. So, like, I like the team that they put together. They surprised me a lot offensively this year. That was kind of like my biggest question mark for them, and they kind of answered that. But I don't like the sentiment of let's just get there and see what happens. It's very similar to what the Mariners guy said. 54% of the time, that's all we're trying to do. Like, that to me creates like a what am I trying to say here? It gives you some like margin for error, like a cushion. Like, that's not what you want to hear as a fan, and honestly, not even what I want to hear as a player. Like, let's go be the badass team in the big leagues. Let's not go there and just see what happens. Let's go there and dominate. Let's run through this freaking wall and take it. That's the attitude that I want to hear.
I understand it. But you don't win. You don't get better by having a really good press conference on October 16th.
Oh, of course, I know, but
So,
they need,
didn't you think that
defensively they need to change a ton. I also think they need to make better roster decisions.
Yes, I would say that, but I actually thought that Brian Cashman did some really good things last offseason and at the trade deadline. It was not a perfect roster. We know that. But you go out, you sign Max Fried, and you trade for Devin Williams.
Great.
At the time, that's a win.
Yes.
Did he have his struggles? Absolutely. But the minute the trade happened, nobody was like, ew, you traded for Devin Williams? No, not at all. Traded for Bellinger? That's a win.
The trade deadline, bringing the back end of the bullpen in.
Right.
It.
Like, I thought they did a lot of good things.
But they didn't fully address. I mean, they have an interesting roster with guys that are kind of out of position or maybe don't really have a position. And so sometimes a lot of the times that comes back to bite them defensively. And I do think sticking with Volpe as long as they have, whether he was hurt and someone said it affected them, somebody said it didn't, whatever. Like, I think there are times where you got to make difficult decisions. And like I've said this before on the show, like, it could have been good for Volpe to go down there and get some work.
Yeah,
it happens.
I know you've said that a lot.
It happens to guys. Like, it is when you're in the moment, it sucks. I've got sent down a million times, dude. It sucks. But when you start to look around the league, how many guys just get a run at the big leagues and never have to go work on things in the minor leagues? It's very few and far between. So I think there's just stuff like that needs to change with the Yankees. Like, let's make those hard decisions. They got to get better defensively. I don't really know how easy that is. They are stuck with some guys that are kind of just not defensive players. So that's not an easy fix for them, but there's a lot of things. But I just don't want my leader that's constructing our roster talking like that. Like, let's just get there and see what happens.
So you would rather have had him come out and say, I'm pissed off.
Yes.
Like, I don't know what to say other than, I mean, I'm not going to tell you about anything personnel-wise. You can ask me questions about how I can summarize a season or injuries and all that sort of stuff. I'll answer those questions, but I'm pissed off, and I got to do a better job, and I got to really sit down and figure out the roster.
Because that should be the sentiment in the clubhouse, Chris. Everyone should be fucking mad.
I'm sure they're mad. You don't think those guys are mad?
But that needs to be echoed throughout the organization.
So do you think that Boone and Cashman are too kind of laissez-faire for this particular fan base with that? It probably works in a lot of places, but not in New York.
I would agree with that. Yeah, I see a lot of fans. I know a lot of fans working at this damn company. And yeah, I think they all would agree they'd rather them talk like that. And I think it's not just talk. It creates an attitude. It creates a vibe, right? And I think that does mean something. In fact, I think that's like the ultimate thing for the manager to do is create a vibe.
Yes. At the same time, if Max Fried pitches up to his capabilities instead of getting knocked out in whatever it was, the third inning in Toronto. I mean, you give Max Fried the baseball against a kid who's making his 5th or 6th start, you expect a little bit better, don't you?
Yes. But that wasn't the initial question you asked me. It was like,
I know, but I mean, I think the point is, at the end of the day, is that they tied the Blue Jays for the best record in the American League. It stinks for the Yankees that they had to play an extra series and they couldn't line up their pitching like Toronto could. But man, if at the beginning of the year you would say that your prize free agent starter was going to go against a guy who had 4 starts in the big leagues in a must-win game for you, do you like your chances? You'd say, hell yes, you would. At some point, it can't just fall on the guys doing the roster construction.
No, I mean, it's everyone throughout the organization. It's coaches at the big league level. And again, they surprised me offensively with what they were able to do this year. So like a lot of that, like they answered those questions.
Yeah. I do understand people, the fans getting pissed because they have lived through or they have heard the stories about George Steinbrenner. And that is so appealing to a fan base. They want an owner who acts just like you do on a random Tuesday night because you had guys that got thrown out at third base on some bad base running decision or somebody made 2 errors in a game. You want your owner to hurt just as much because we have so little of that. Most fans can't even pick out their owners. Like, that's how absentee some of them are. That was not the Steinbrenner way. And now, even though the Steinbrenner family still has ownership of this team, you feel like it might as well be named Bowman because the family that owns it now is unrecognizable to the fans who followed and praised George Steinbrenner. That's the way it is. Just telling you, bro.
A lot of Yankees talk.
Yeah, well, it makes sense. Time for them to say goodbye.
Super producer Dan's got a whole offseason plan for the Yankees. So
well, we're not going to get into that right now. I'm going to get into this because playoff season, we're smack dab in the middle of it, although we're creeping toward the back end. So whether you're at a watch party or a tailgate or you're hanging with friends after the game, nothing levels up those moments like a refreshing tropical lime kick of Mountain Dew Baja Blast. Baja Blast, it's legendary. It is available everywhere. You can grab it in a can or a bottle. Bring that tropical flavor to your next watch party. So during the postseason, you're hanging with the friends, you're rooting for your favorite team, you're grabbing food late night, or maybe even a fall college football tailgate. Grab something that'll help tie it all together. It's the Baja Blast. Don't wait. Grab Mountain Dew Baja Blast today and taste the tropical refresh. Takes every occasion to the next level. Find it now at mountaindew.com/finddew. All right, another team that lost in the divisional round, Philadelphia Phillies. They bowed out against the Los Angeles Dodgers. Lots of decisions coming up with free agents to be Schwarber, Ranger Suarez, JT Realmuto. But maybe the most interesting part of Dave Dombrowski's presser on Thursday might have been when he talked about Philadelphia's biggest star.
I don't think he's content with the year that he had. And again, it wasn't a bad year. But when I think of Bryce Harper, you're thinking elite, right? You're thinking one of the top 10 players in baseball, and I don't think it fit into that category. But again, very good player. I have no idea when you see somebody. I have seen guys at his age. Again, he's not old, that level off. Or I've seen guys rise again. We'll see what happens.
Were you surprised that he made those statements?
Kind of shooting it straight, if we're being honest. I don't know if I'm Bryce, like how I take that. Now, he kept saying, like, yeah, he had a good year, but it wasn't elite. I think Bryce would say, yeah, that's true. I don't think he said, and correct me if I'm wrong, like he's not an elite player anymore.
No, that's not what he said. What he said was, we're going to find out.
Yeah, I actually don't necessarily have a problem with what he said. And I think I don't think it's going to motivate Bryce Harper, or maybe it will, because there's going to be a lot of talk like this, like you and I, like that's very good sports show fodder. And I don't know how much Bryce cares or pays attention to that. I'm sure he knows it's out there. And does that motivate you? Like maybe a little bit in the off season, like, and I mean this in like a sincere, like not real way. Like there's probably going to be a few times in off season workouts where Bryce is like, fuck Dave, but like in a nice way. Not like he really means it. Like that can motivate you to go a little bit harder. I don't know how much motivation this guy needs. He's an awesome dude. One of my favorite players to watch. I don't know. For some reason, for a guy that I usually defend the player a lot against talk like this, and I've had to do it against Magdad Russo with Bryce Harper before, but that's a totally different scenario. I didn't necessarily have a problem, and I think his words are getting misconstrued just enough where it seems like it was a really bad statement.
I don't know if they're misconstrued.
I think people are like, at least when I first heard it, I was like, wow, was he like, what was he saying? Then you listen to it again, and I think it becomes more clear.
Yeah, I think it's very clear. I think he said that Bryce Harper was not an elite, meaning top 10 player in the league. Nobody's going to sit here and be like, geez, Dave, I think you're wrong. No, it was his worst OPS in almost a decade, and it happened in 2016, the year after his first NL MVP. The next season, he came back and was awesome. Now, he would have been in the MVP talk more significantly in 2017 had he stayed healthy. He played only 111 games. He had a one daughter. He had 29 homers. He missed 6 weeks. Remember when he hyperextended his knee on the base? That was that year in 2017, but he was having a really good year. Now, do I think he can get back to that? I think what Dave is saying is maybe what a lot of analysts would say. Is this where it's starting to kind of level off for Bryce Harper? And is this the type of player we're going to see? And you get to this age 33 season, you want to take it one of the great of all time, Albert Pujols. He kind of started to fall. I'm not going to say fall off a cliff, but something happened to him. His first year in Anaheim, an 859 OPS, still very good. Over the next 9 seasons, starting in age 33, nothing over 800 in the OPS. Why are you shaking your head?
Oh, I just don't want it to go that way for Bryce.
No, I don't either, but I guarantee you that if you were to ask Dave Dombrowski who you're thinking about, I would bet you that that's one of the guys that comes to mind.
Pujols stopped moving really. Like I think Bryce still moves better.
No question.
Like the body is still playing.
Absolutely, but I'm just talking about in terms of production that it started to go the wrong direction, and Albert Pujols was never an MVP candidate after that at all.
No, I think the biggest thing to become elite again for Bryce is playing. Like play 162, play 155, whatever it is. You know what I'm talking about. Like play a full season. It's been 2023, 126, then 145, then 132. Get to the 155 mark. Like if he can stay healthy the entire year, that's when you see the counting numbers get up there. That's when you start to get those elite numbers. I mean, shoot, 2024, man, again, 145 games, MVP 6, 2 years in a row, 900 OPS. Like, what is elite, I guess? I would say 900 OPS, elite.
Absolutely.
So,
I don't think there's any question about that.
Would it shock me if Bryce Harper was a 900 OPS guy next year? Absolutely not.
I'm going to go count how many guys had an OPS over 900 this year. How many do you think? Just guess.
Full league?
Yeah, like, the required at-bats.
AL and NL?
Yes, sir.
9.
7.
7?
Judge, Ohtani, Springer, Raleigh, Schwarber, Soto.
It's hard, dude.
Yeah, it's hard. That's elite.
You're talking 400. You're talking 4.5 in it. 400 on base, 500 slug. That's nuts.
And I hope he does get back there. He's just one of my favorites. I root for him. I picked the Phillies at the beginning of the year because I wanted to see him get a ring. And Dave Dombrowski's got a lot of work.
The press conferences were wild. As we were prepping for the show a little bit, I was going over, and Dombrowski was talking about Strom. I didn't know Strom had questioned like if they did PFPs enough, and he was like, "Well, we did them. He didn't." I'm like,
that
"Holy
was crazy."
shit."
And by the way, Nick Castellanos is they're either going to eat a ton of money in a trade or he's getting released. Like that has never been more clear.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if his locker's already.
Where's he going? Miami. Here we go. They're finally getting him.
If I think he's got 1 year and $20 million left on his deal, right? He signed a 500, right? 5 for 100. If you could get that down to what number would you have to get it down to as the team receiving Castellanos in a deal for it to make sense?
10. He could be an all-star next year, man. Like, motivate that guy. Yeah.
Mickey C.
I'm telling you, man, put a chip on that guy's shoulder and let him go swing the bat a little bit.
He's got a chip on his shoulder. What do you mean?
No, not like if you were to release him or trade him and eat a bunch of money, which is basically the same thing.
Interesting. What do you think, people? Bryce Harper, is he getting back to maybe not MVP territory, but elite-ish? Well, that's on the outskirts of elite. That neighborhood. Elite-ish.
Elite-ish, yeah.
Elite-ish. Quick shout out to our friends over at Nike. Playoff baseball, full throttle. You know there's nobody more trusted to get your postseason ready than Nike. So go check out our affiliate link in the description below. Shop the amazing Nike postseason gear. It's all out there. Go get decked out before the season is done. We are done for the day. We'll be back at some point soon. We haven't quite figured out that schedule quite yet, but we're getting close. At the very least, we're going to be back on Monday. There might be a special weekend edition. We'll see. We're in negotiations to talk about that. In the meantime, enjoy both games on Friday. For our one-of-a-kind producer, Dan Rourke, our awesome intern, Sawyer, that is the uber-talented Trevor Plouffe. I am Chris Rose. Thanks for tuning in to Baseball Today, presented to you by Mountain Dew Baja Blast.